Wait a minute, I hear something.
Dr. Movie! Dr. Movie! Blueberry News! Dr. Movie! Dr. Movie! Yeah!
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Dr. Movie time again, and we are getting closer to the end of the Demon Saga. That's what I'm calling it anyways. And we are up to Demons, what'd I say, 8? What I like about this one is they've kind of just skipped the whole numbering system, right? You know, so we've gone from adding the extra stuff like Demons 5, the Devil's Veil, to Demon 7, the Inferno. They flipped the script on this one and they gave us AKA, or we're talking about Demonia, right? The Fulci film from 1990. Also known as The New Demons. So they almost pulled a Ghoulies on us here. If you didn't like the old demons, you're going to like this one. Even though there's no real demons in this movie. We got plenty of naughty nuns in this movie. But no demons. So, like I said, we're talking about Demonia, 1990 horror/mystery. Yeah, it's a mystery of why this is labeled as one of the Demons movies. That's more than anything else. Just looking through here, Demonia is most certainly a must-see for Fulci fans and anyone interested in Italian horror. I think that's kind of a stretch. Possibly not his worst movie, but for a Fulci film, I don't know. This one doesn't really hit all those buttons he normally hits. I don't know if he was just kind of getting tired at this point, hadn't caught his second win yet, or third win, because, I mean, Fulci been around a long time. But let's read a little bit here of what this movie is all about, all right? All right, let's do that. It says a team of Canadian archaeologists study ruins in a crypt in Sicily, unwittingly releases demonic spirits, which then target the scientists and the town folk in an unholy saga of demonic nuns and supernatural carnage. Yeah, you know, and I will say the premise for this is pretty good. Definitely dark, definitely kind of sacrilege, I guess, in a way. Yeah, you get this group of nuns. When the movie starts off, well, wait a minute. Before we jump ahead, let's go to the cast. Obviously, you got to have, in any Lucio Fulci film, you know that there's going to be one person in it, and that is Lucio Fulci. He's going to show up in his movies every stinking time, because that's just what he does, right? We got Brett Halsey in this. He's done quite a bit of films, Touch of Death, a lot of Italian stuff, right? He was in Return of the Fly. How about that? And the one that stands out to me is, I'm going to screw up his name because I never can say it right, Lino Salame. I'm guessing it's Salame. Salemme. Salami. It's just spelled differently, folks. So Lino is in a ton of Italian horror stuff, right? You and I remember him from the first Demons movie as being the leader of the punk group that's outside in the car that's snorting the coke out of the coke can. He's also in Demons 2 as, I think, like a police officer. He's in Delirium. He's in Sweet House of Horrors, Grave Disturbance. It says he was in The Passion of the Christ. Wow. I didn't recognize him if he is. But this guy's been in a lot of these flicks, right? So, always good to see him. He always looks like, it's almost like his eyes are always watering, right? Or something, like he's got real bad allergies, or maybe he did really do some coke. And, it's got his eyes all messed up, right? Our main character in this is Meg Register. I'm looking real quick just to kind of see what else she's been in. Ministry of Vengeance, Boxing Helena. She's in a Michael Jackson video. But, all right, she's in Running Scared, right? From, that's a, who was in Running Scared? Gregory Hines and Billy Crystal. What an odd choice for this movie. I almost wonder if she was hired just because of her eyes, right? Because you don't really do much acting. It's more or less just looking around at stuff and either looking surprised or a what the heck is that kind of look. Very odd. Very, very odd in this movie. We've got Carla Cassola in this. We just heard, she was in the Sect just recently. She's in House of Clocks, another Fulci film, so he likes to reuse people a lot. We have to bring up Al Cliver being in this, right? Al Cliver was in the first Zombies movie. He looks like he's the Big Lebowski's little brother, right? He's in a lot of of Italian B movies, right? So yeah, let's talk about this one. It starts off showing back in who knows what times, and this little small town is gathering up 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like 5 or 6 nuns. Is it 7? There's a number to it that means something, even though I totally forgot what it is. Anyways, it's a gaggle of nuns. Would that be the right word? Would it be a gaggle? But they grab these nuns and they take them and basically crucify them on these crosses, driving the spikes through their hands, one through the chest, and you really have no explanation why. These nuns have marks on their foreheads, kind of like question marks, which is another thing. Just like, okay, I don't get it. I don't know if this is a cultural thing, but I'm not sure what this means. But they take these nuns, they crucify them, and our main character, whose name is Liza, I believe that's another name for this movie too, is Liza. She has this dream, I guess, of this stuff, right? But they're in Canada, and they're going to go investigate in Sicily, or just look at this place, because it's a nice kind of old school stadium, that they're going to look at, and there's this huge monastery, chapel, church up on this hill. All the town people are scared the crap out of it, because of what happened all these years ago. And nobody wants anybody touching any of this stuff, because as long as we leave it alone, the evil won't come back and everything's hunky-dory. And nobody talks about Bruno, right? Or nobody talks about the dead nunnos. Right? So apparently if the evil's released, then the nurses will curse the entire town, and, So, you get a situation where one of the guys on the team ends up getting killed, and it leads to chaos in the whole community, right? Because it's a curse, right? The curse is coming back, and it's going to be a big issue. And they all just kind of pass it off. And even Fulci's like, look, man, y'all just, stay away from the townspeople. But, they already think bad things of y'all already. So don't be surprised, with that kind of information. And the more this goes along, the more that Liza starts getting drawn closer and closer to what's happening in this place. And she actually finds a spot, and they bust through a wall, and it goes down to where the nuns were crucified, and the corpses and everything are still there. And obviously they're reaching out to him. And also you got Al Cliver's character, who's Porter, who does kind of the same kind of archaeology work, except he does it at sea, right? But he has to be in the neighborhood when all this is going on. And he has a discussion about what happened in the past, and they're not supposed to talk about it, yada, yada. Well, he gets a visit from a naked woman with a spear gun with no head. It's like it's a dissolve shot that they put this ghost body in there, but why she's naked, no idea. And shoots him, kills him with a spear gun. But when the cops get there, I mean, they know there's blood and stuff everywhere. They notice that the guy's missing. They can't find him, but they decide they're going to move the boat to look for evidence. And when they raise the anchor, dude's head is attached to the anchor. So, kind of wild. Pretty good shot, too. So as this thing goes on, you're getting more and more crazy things are happening, right? You get a couple of these guys that are on this archaeology team. Every night they're out there playing music and singing these stupid songs. And some of them get drunk and decide they're going to go down there and mess around in the catacombs. And they fall through this, I don't know, hole in the floor and get impaled by these spikes that are down there. So that's 2 more guys that get killed, right? But there's this lady in town that knows a lot of the story, but she's afraid to tell anybody anything. But she decides that she's going to share the information with Liza. Liza goes to the local archives and wants to look up all this information. They find a book, but all these books, there's pages ripped out of it because there's stuff they don't want people to know. And this lady calls her and says, hey, just meet me at my place at this time. I'm risking my life telling you this stuff, but just come and I'll explain. And she goes up there and she tells her the whole spiel of what happened. These nuns were bad news. They were having orgies. They made a pact with the devil. One of them got pregnant. I mean, they were like sleeping with guys and then killing the guys and drinking the blood. And one of them got pregnant and was having the baby. When they had the baby, they just took the baby and threw it in a fire. I mean, it's just like crazy stuff, right? And, but the spirits are locked away. But, if we awaken them, then they'll come back and start haunting things, which is obviously what's happening because people hear women laughing and cackling, and next thing you know, people are dying. And that's kind of your setup for this whole movie. And then it just gets to where Liza is so enthralled with it, or led to it. But our local butcher, which is Lino Salami, which is a perfect name because he's a butcher. He goes down. He goes to the catacombs well and goes down all the way down to where the nuns were, and he notices that the one in the middle is gone. The corpse is no longer there. He gets freaked out, runs back, hides in the butcher shop, even goes into the cooler because he just feels something's after him, very Suspiria-like. And he goes in there and gets knocked around by some sides of beef that are floating around on chains and hitting him. And then he gets hurt and gets knocked down. His head gets knocked down onto a cutting, like a butcher's block. And I'm guessing it's a nun, but they take a big spike and spike it through his tongue, obviously killing him first. And, Fulci, the police officer, finds him dead in the meat locker, right? Well, when it all comes down to it, the town revolts, gets angry, and goes down to get rid of all the archaeologists because they're the ones that's brought this doom and gloom on everybody. But when they go down there, all the archaeologists are trying to hide, and they go down to the catacombs, and Liza is now dressed up like one of the nuns and goes and puts herself to the cross, and they burn her alive. And then after she burns up, her body just magically appears on the ground and she's okay, I guess. I don't know if she's dead or alive. It doesn't really show. She's just laying there. And that's kind of the end of it. So it's a weird little flick. Not Fulci's worst by any means. Definitely not his best. But, it's got some pretty decent things in it. But overall, that's kind of the story of this one. I'm going to put this right in the middle of the road, too. I didn't hate watching it. I thought it was okay. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. And, if you're a Fulci fan, you already know this movie. If you're not familiar with Fulci, this is like Fulci light compared to what you get with the other stuff. So this one might be a good place for you to start. And it makes about as much sense as any other Fulci movie because none of them make any sense. But with that, I still love me from some Fulci, right? He makes some outlandish stuff. Why this one is labeled as the new demons? No idea. They should have just called it Nasty Nuns and been done with it. Anyway, folks, that's kind of it for this episode. Hope you're enjoying this series, and we're gonna wrap it up. Getting into Cemetery Man, Delamorte Delamore will be the final in this series. And until then, folks, we will check you later.
Dr. Lupe!